Hey guys, what's up? So today I have a video that isn't 100% half-assed. Just as a little backstory, I guess, it was last Friday, which, I mean, means nothing to you guys. It was what was it, the 23rd, I think? And for whatever reason, I was in a deck building mood. I just wanted to build a lot of decks. And I was, I got on Facebook, messaged some of my buddies and said, I'm going to make 20 decks today. I didn't make the 20 decks, or at least I don't think I did. I don't know how many I've made since then, but in the span of, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in the span of 3 days, I made at least 14, I think. Now, they aren't exactly the most competitive. Like, if you know anything about Archfiends, you know this isn't exactly the most standard build, and obviously the first deck I made is Archfiends, or not obviously, but it's what's on the screen right now. I'm sorry about that. So, the purpose of me making the decks is because I just wanted to play things that were new and or fun to me, or that I thought would be fun for me, because obviously if they're new to me, I've never played them before. Anyway, that's why I made the decks, and the reason I'm sharing them with you is because maybe you're going through like a little slump, maybe you're trying to find a new deck to play, maybe you're trying to find something that interests you because the deck you're currently playing isn't, all it used to be, or what it used to be, or maybe you're just not having fun with the game. Maybe one of these decks will inspire you. Now, I'm gonna leave like timestamps or whatever down in the description below to say like, oh, at this time I talk about this deck, this time I talk about this deck, etc. Anyway, so the first deck was Archfiends. Now, Archfiends, I didn't know how they ran. Like most of the decks that I made were more or less my creation. Like obviously I would go online and like look at deck profiles, or look at I should probably skim through the cards. I would look at deck profiles. I would look at, posts of people saying like, what is this, how does this deck look for you guys, or how does the deck look to you guys? And I would just take ideas that I liked, but I never really like took the entire deck. This is the exception. Really, except for like Necrosphere, Pandemonium, Skill Prisoner, and Wiretap, this deck is the deck that topped something somewhat recently. It was like it came like 39th place. I found it somewhere on YouTube, and I just took the deck, card for card. This deck actually isn't terrible. Like I did play around with it, like Dark Necrosphere. I've never gotten him out. I've gotten him once. I've gotten him out once my entire like Yu-Gi-Oh career. It was worth it, but I just never get this guy on the field. But one other thing that I don't think I mentioned, I want to have fun with these decks, so that's why you'll see weird text like Dark Necrosphere. Pandemonium, which I'll actually talk about in a sec. Skill Prisoner is in most of these decks just because I really like it as a card. I know it's not the best card, but I thoroughly enjoy the card. And then like Beyond the Hope, it can make rank 6s with Archfiend Commander. Doesn't do it, that often, but the option's there. So Beyond Hope is there. But yeah, I just want to have fun with this deck. And also, real quick, well, I said I'd talk about Pandemonium. So this card like comboed off with Cavalry. Like if you have Cavalry on the field, you summon Archfiend Commander, blow up Cavalry. Cavalry will search, or will special summon something from your graveyard, an Archfiend card that's in your graveyard, and then you use Pandemonium to add an Archfiend Heiress to your hand, and just keep going from there. It's actually not the best, but it is definitely like a cheap little way to get like that 1 or 2 cards you need to your hand. So it's just something I've been playing around with, something I've been enjoying. And the reason I really wanted to try this deck out was this card. Like this card is just stupid. I want to say it was Snatch Steal, where you like gave your opponent 1,000 life points and you took control of one of their monsters. That's what this is. But it's stupid that it's a card. Like, I don't know. This card is just retarded. Anyway, moving on to the next deck, we have Batterymen. Batterymen, I don't really know why I decided to pick this deck up. I guess it's because of 9-volt or 9V, whatever you want to call it. And it just adds like searching to the deck, and you can just spam the field. Like I've seen people like just spam the crap out of the field with this deck because this card is now a thing, and it makes the deck viable. And one thing that I forgot, or it's not that I forgot to mention, I just don't think it was in the other deck. Rank up magic is a theme throughout most of these decks. Like if they can make rank 4s, it means they can make Utopia, and it means they can make Utopia Dragoon. I haven't summoned this guy yet, but I do want to get this guy out into the field just once. That's it. After that, I don't really care for it, but I just want to get out into the field. And since I am running a rank up thing, why not run rank up the 7th one? Because it's extremely stupid with Silent Honor Dark. And then just the standard Numeron Force, because, why not? This deck does have a little bit of Hunter support. It does have, you know, Thunder Seahorse, which every Thunder deck should. And it looks like it'll be good. Like, I haven't gotten around to testing a lot of these decks. I know I've tested Archfiends. I know I've tested Noridcs. I know I've tested a few of them, but like I haven't even touched Battery Men yet. So a lot of these decks, like I said, or I don't think I said, a lot of these decks are meant to be fun. They're not meant to be good exactly. I'm not saying that they're bad, but like these have gone under like no kind of testing. So like I mentioned, I built however many I built in like 3 days, and if you guys have built decks competitively, or if you guys have built decks to last, you know that takes a lot more than just like sitting down for like an hour and just coming up with 2 decks. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to sit down, think about what works with your deck and all that. That's something I did not do in this. I just kind of threw things together to kind of have fun with it, and it's just that the timing is there. Like, I literally did this last week. I'm starting up YouTube again, so it's like, why not at least show it to you guys? Maybe you'll find some deck that you actually want to try. So that's, again, why I'm doing this. And if you want to, you know, try any of these decks out, feel free. But I highly suggest you go look elsewhere, because the idea might be interesting, but the execution with these builds, I'm almost positive, is not going to be there. Like, again, I just threw these together in like half an hour to an hour, and yeah, they're not exactly where they should be. Anyway, moving on to the third deck, we have Evols, or I don't know how I would describe this deck. Like, I just wanted to try a Gristle or E-Gristle. Like, I don't really like the Shadal deck for what it is, but one thing I do like about it is that it adds it adds variety, or it makes other decks work, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can add it in as its own engine. You can basically use the Shadal skeleton, which in my personal opinion is what I have right here. I'm not a Shadal player though, so I wouldn't take my opinion seriously. But yeah, you just take the skeleton and you throw together some random stuff and go from there. I should probably be skimming through the cards. But yeah, so that's where this comes from. So obviously you have the Evol engine to pump out Logi and Dulka. You have Evo Singularity to help you get out, what's it called? Solda. And then you just have Shadal stuff to get out Nepflim, Midrash, Gristle, and all that good stuff. And since we're playing, like, I wanted to focus the extra deck on, Evol stuff. And then, since we had the room, I wanted to splash in some water stuff just so I can run Mass Change a second. Because I was going to be playing Mass Change a second anyway, because Dark Law is now a card. But I wanted to also focus on, like, well, let me see if I can fit water stuff in there just so I can, like, pull an acid out of my butt and see how that works. So this is a deck that obviously it probably won't work. I like the idea, I really do, but I really doubt this deck will work. But if you want to try it, if you take away anything from this video, it's like, I don't necessarily agree with Shadals, but try playing them with other decks. See how that works, because I really feel like that is one thing I do appreciate about the deck. Like, it makes other things work. Like, it works with other things, and it makes them usable, I guess. Next up, we have gadgets. So actually, I'll take back what I just said. I just said how if you try any deck, try the Evol. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Evol Shadals. If you, I said you should test that deck out, but if you want it to be somewhat competitive, I suggest this deck, I guess. As a friend said, like, it's gadgets, so on some level they are competitive, and this deck is one that I have tried out and it has done fairly well. It is basically a chain summoning deck, because all you need is a gadget to summon itself, activate its effect, then you activate Kagito Kage, then you activate chain summoning, and you get, you know, your original normal summon and then 2 more normal summons. So you have, like, at the very least, you get 2 XYZs on the field, and you just go from there. Also, we do run the Quick Chaos, which is one of my favorite rank up Magic cards, just because it is so... I've lost this card a few times since it's come out, and it's good, is what I'm trying to say. Like, people might just kind of like brush it under the rug and say, oh, it's just another rank up card. Trust me, it helps you dodge Fiendish Chain, it helps you dodge D-Prison, it helps you dodge Bottomless, all that good stuff. So it's pretty good. Like, you should definitely try it out if you are into the whole rank up thing. Next up, we have Ghostrick Vampires. Now, Vampires I'm definitely going to bring back. I definitely do want to, like, revisit this deck. And I just teched in Ghostricks because like it's a tribute engine. I kind of dropped the whole zombie like synchro part of it, and I just like focused on the tribute engine for vampires. And it, I've only gotten into one duel with this deck, and Vamp is amazing. Like I just really like this card, but it wasn't enough to win the duel. I don't remember who I was playing against, but what it came down to was I could always get, or not that I can always get it, but I was able to get Duke onto the field and bring back Vamp, but then I couldn't do anything with it, and it was just kind of like left there to die. Like Vamp being a level 7 kind of hurts it. The fact that it doesn't have a discard or a mill effect, it's not that it hurts, it just doesn't make it as good in my eyes. Like I would have loved it if it had a mill effect, but yeah, it just, what am I trying to say? Vamp is weird in this deck. Like it's a good card, but it being level 7 just feels weird to me. But yeah, I do like the idea of Ghostrick Vampires. I need to work out the ratios, but like I said, I will definitely bring back Vampires, in which case Jack Frost will definitely be there because I saw a video, and Jack Frost actually does make sense in tribute engines. Like that's just my personal opinion. I don't know about the rest of it. This will be gone, the 7th one, but like I said, if you're running rank 1s in this or in this case, because this deck can make rank 1s, you know, you're going to be running a Utopia card, and you're going to be running Utopia Dragoon in this build because it's my fun build, I guess. So yeah, that's how that works. Next up, we have Gishkis. This deck, I don't know what to say. I just kind of threw it together because I thought Gishkis looked fun. I have yet to test it, but something tells me that when I do test it, it's gonna get its ass handed to it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. This right here, the Numeron Force, is meant to rank up Sky Palace Gungaridai, I guess, into CXYZ Sky Palace Babylon, just because why not? You do run the rank 10, it's the level 10 that's the whole point of this deck, or at least that's from what I've seen the whole point of Gishkis is to get this guy out into the field. Then let's say you get 2 onto the field, you overlay into this guy, you rank up into this guy, and say, you know what, good luck. And if if you can't do that, just try and make a rank 4. We do run these guys, and Tragodia can become a rank 4 or level 4, and then go into Utopia, and then go into Dragoon, because like I said, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Next up we have, what do we have? Next up we have Heraldic Beasts, and Heraldic Beasts they've always been a relatively okay deck. Now with the new support, I guess, with a Plane Code, I think it's called, the deck is actually kind of fun. And one thing that I'm testing out right now is the Super Poly, because Elder God Nodin has come out, and like, I'll just finish the extra deck. The thing that I want to try with Super Poly is that Nodin just needs 1 XYZ or Synchro, and then, well, 2 Synchros, or, 2 Synchro or XYZ, just like a combination of the 2. And this deck, the purpose of this deck is to pump out rank 4s, i.e. Plane Coat, and then as soon as your opponent gets a Synchro or XYZ on the field, you Super Poly, discard one of your cards, because the monsters actually like being in the graveyard. That's where their effects go off. Then you tribute you sacrifice, or what is it? You send your Plane Coat to the graveyard, and you basically absorb your opponent's monster for, Super Poly. You get out your Nodin, you get Plane Coat's effect, then you dump 2. You're gonna dump a Leo, which will just add something to your hand, and then you get a Nodin on the field, which is then reborn, one of your rank or level 4s, and you just go from there. And just a real quick side note, I don't know how that would work chain wise, so I just said like, oh, this would happen, then this would happen, then this would happen. Like, don't quote me on that, just something to keep in mind. Like, you do get all that in the end, but I don't know what the order is, if that matters. Next up, Heroics. Nothing really to say here. I just wanted to... Well, actually, no, there is something to say here. I just really wanted to try out the new guy, the number 86, is it? Yeah, number 86. I just wanted to try out that guy. The only things I wanted to mention here, this card, Ambush Soldier, people don't really run it, but in my mind, it's a rescue rabbit. You just need to bring it in, bring it in the right time. And this is Warrior, right? Yeah. So the idea of this little combo right here, and I might actually like put this down as 1 and bump this up to 2. You activate Reinforced Truth to summon this guy during your opponent's end phase, and then during your standby phase, you get his Rescue Rabbit type effect, and then go from there. Is it gonna work? I have no idea. does it sound like it'll work? It most definitely does. So I don't know. That's just how I feel like it. I feel like it could work. Will it work? That's a different story. And the other card I want to talk about is Battleguard Howling. Like, I just love this card. It's basically Compulse and Magic Cylinder put together. Like, if your opponent targets your monster with a monster effect, like if he targets a warrior with a monster effect or an attack, you get to send any monster on your opponent's side of the field back to the hand or extra deck, and then you do damage to your opponent based on, like, equal to its original attack. So it's a really good card. Like, the only downside to it is that it doesn't negate the effect, but if it also negated the effect, that would kind of be stupid. And the only reason, like, I bring that up is, like, let's say your opponent summons Black Ship and you have, what's this guy, Assault Halberd on the field, and your opponent tries to Black Ship it. You can send the Black Ship back, you can do 2100 points of damage, but you're still going to lose your Halberd, and you're still going to take the 1000. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like, the effect still goes through if it can, you know? Next up we have Heraldics. Now this deck was really just awkward, because I've wanted to try out Dragon Rulers for a while now, if I'm being completely honest. It's just that, you know, they were, you know, the top deck for so long. I just really had no interest in playing them because they're a top deck. I know that sounds like a real hipster douchebag, but that's honestly how I felt. Like, they were the top deck and I had no interest in playing it. I play the game for fun, not necessarily to be competitive. And I don't really see the fun in taking the top deck and just beating up on people in Dev Pro. Like, because people who play in Dev Pro for the most part are just trying to have fun. So if I take, I feel like if I take, you know, the best deck and just try playing against other people who are just trying to have fun, it's not going to be fun for me. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I have high morals or whatever, because no, it's a card game. Who cares? It's just that I find the game more fun when I'm playing fun decks as opposed to this. If I was playing competitively, then yeah, I'd play. That's a story for another day, because I do actually have a video idea about a certain card, which, yeah, is kind of like a common theme, and I actually might talk about at the end. But yeah, this is a Red Eyes variant. We have Carbon Neton, which is a dinosaur. Shoot. I thought that was a dragon, so it could be like searched off a Redux. Well, that changes things a bit. Well, I mean, you can still bring it back, right? No, you can't. Alright, so this is just falling apart as we speak. But yeah, it's a weird, like, Hieratic Dragon Ruler mythic build with red eyes. I don't really know how to describe it. Just, I haven't tested it out yet, but I think it'll be somewhat decent. Don't hold me to that. Next up, in Memory of Stratos. Stratos is banned. Stratos searched every hero in existence, well, in the main deck anyway. Every card in here, or every monster searches something, and it's backed up by, like, stun cards. So, like, Noridcs searches Crystal Skull, which searches Noridcs. Bear searches Tenki, which searches Rabbit. No, Tenki searches Bear, which searches Tenki, which searches Rabbit, which just never dies. Mermails searches your trap holes. Magdalene searches herself. Bunny, like I said, never dies, and then you just have, like, stun cards down here. I haven't tried this deck out. I used to play Chain Beat a while ago, and it was actually kind of fun, and this deck kind of reminds me of that, so we'll see how this goes. It should be interesting. Next up, Mermails. This deck, I don't know, I just wanted to try Mermails out. I never tried it out before. And there's nothing really to say. It's somewhat standard, I guess. I haven't actually looked at any builds for this, so some of you might be Mermail players and like, oh my god, this deck sucks, but yeah. Next up, we have Noridcs. Noridcs have actually been a very fun deck. Like, I tried them out back in my DN days, and they weren't exactly the best, but now they have this card. They have Ayers Rock Sunrise, or whatever it's called. And it's basically a Monster Reborn, but for Beast only. And that just allows for so many plays. And I can honestly say, outside of maybe one duel, I've gotten at least one Lord of Azir out onto the field. And they're not exactly the best cards in the world, but it's just nice to have them. You know, it's just nice to have them out and just have your opponent face down a god, basically. It's just, it makes you feel good. I don't know, that's my opinion anyway. The deck is actually really fun. It takes maybe like a few duels to get used to it and, you know, get used to like what it can do, but, you know, if you want to try it out, and it's technically Nordic Lightsworn plants, because you do have the plant engine, you do have some Lightsworn stuff, but we try not to talk about those. Next up is Sharks. I did mention that I used to play Sharks back when I played Banish Sharks, even though they weren't really Banish Sharks, because, yeah. But I decided to pick this deck up again because, again, Nodin. Really, the deck at this point with Nodin, assuming you have the 2,000 life points and assuming that you resolve both Insta-Fusions, the deck has 5 Wolfbarks at that point. You have the 3 Double Fin Sharks, or not Wolfbarks, but Debris Dragon, I guess. You have the 3 Double Fin Sharks, and you have the 2 Nodins, and that's just really good. And the reason Wind Up Shark's in here, I never liked Wind Up Shark in Sharks, but then I realized like it could summon itself off of itself, and it adds more salvage targets, so what's not to like about it? And it's just something I'm testing out right now, or I guess I will test out. I haven't actually gotten around to playing it, but yeah. Next up we have Tele-Dad. I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to try this deck out. I know that in the 2 duels I've had with it, it's worked. There's really nothing else to say about that. Just know that you have Dark Arm Dragon destroying things, Beel's not dying, and Void Orga Dragon on the field saying your opponent can activate a spell or trap once per turn. It's fun stuff. Next up, Vylons. I don't... Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing with this deck. I've played it once, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I want this deck to work, I really do, but I have no idea what I'm doing with it. And finally, we have Wind-Ups. This deck is very similar to the one that I had on the channel at the end of last year. The only notable differences are Thunder King and Soul Drain, right? Yeah, Soul Drain. And yeah, I mean the extra deck is a little different, but that's just because new cards have come out. Soul Drain just because everything wants to activate in the graveyard today. Like you have Shaddoll's getting their effects in the graveyard, you have Cosmic Dragons getting their effects in the graveyard, you have like artifacts getting their effects in the graveyard, so the hands, like all this stuff activates in the graveyard. This just says, no, I'm going to stop you from doing that. And nothing activates in the graveyard actually. And then Thunder King, I know it kind of like contradicts the whole idea of this deck. Like it's like you want Wind Up Factory on the field to get your searches off, and Thunder King says, no, you can't do that. So I know it kind of seems weird, but the point of Thunder King is to stop your opponent, because you don't need Factory to go off with your plays. You really don't. If people say that you actually do need Factory, I don't know, I don't agree with that. Like it definitely helps the deck out, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's not 100% needed. Like you can still, you can't explode as much without it. Like I'm not that stupid, I'm not that delirious. Like you do need Factory to like absolutely go off and set up, but if you have the setup, if you have everything you need, Thunder King is just there to say your opponent can't do certain things. Like if they want to search, too bad. If they want to exceed or synchro, it's like you get to synchro or exceed when I'm okay with it. So that's why it's in the deck. And it's, well, yeah, I haven't tested it out yet, so it might be dropped, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. If it gets dropped, I don't know what I would put in, but I'll figure something out. Anyway, guys, those were the decks. I didn't keep a counter. I might actually put like a counter up top somewhere if I care to do that. I don't know how long this has been either, because I'm testing out Fraps recording both the audio and video. I had to uninstall and reinstall Dev Pro. I'm not sure if you guys could tell from everything being different, even though... Anyway, I had to uninstall and reinstall it, and then when it reinstalled, it got reinstalled somewhere weird or something. Like it's on the C drive, but it's like in roaming, or I don't really know. But for some reason, Fraps doesn't have any lag. Like there's no more lag issues with Fraps and Dev Pro. So I'm just testing out how the audio and video sound. So hopefully this records, because last time it didn't, which kind of made me upset. So hopefully it's recording. I think I have the settings right. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like if for some reason you're still listening to this, I don't know, you probably wasted 20 minutes of your life. Or maybe just wanted to see wind-ups and you're probably clicking away right now, and that's okay too. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, great. Hopefully, you know, if you did enjoy it, the best thing you can do is go out and test one of the decks. Like, seriously, go out, have fun. That's what this game is for. It's to have fun. That's why it's called a game. It's a card game. Anyway, these decks might, you know, they may or may not be on the channel. It depends on how testing is. And if any of these decks end up being on the channel, I'll be sure to reference back to this video so you guys can see the difference. I'll probably just like screen cap the deck in its current state and then like go on with the video in whatever state it is at that point. So, God. Yeah, I'm going to end it here. So I'll talk to you guys later. Later, guys.